Alright, this is a brief tutorial of the Behringer p16-m device that we use at the Sanford campus. So the first thing I will typically do is reset the unit when I get to it. There are other churches that use this. Hit recall, store, hold those two down, and then hit the mute button. It will actually reset every level, and even if these channels were all messed up sideways, it will even reset those. So you want to, again, recall, store, mute. Now you can see all these rings went off, which means that they're no longer where the dial indicates. You'll notice if I take the mid, move it back there, ring lights up, means it's good. Same thing with frequency, wherever that is. Same thing with treble. So in general, what it will do as well is it sets the mains to about 80%, which is okay. If you have really non-sensitive headphones, you could crank that up a bit. You don't really need to. Make sure your limiter is set up. This is going to keep any pops and hisses from blowing your ears out. The other thing is, here's your panic button. If you have a problem, hit your mute button. That will mute all channels and everything coming out of this port, which is your headphone port. Alright, so now we're currently looking at the mains. That's at about 90%. Now you want to go through and set. What that reset did is it brought everything back to 0. Up top is where Journey Sanford's settings are. And so the first one's drums, click track, and then track again. This is your ambient sound for the sound, or for the music. Bass, electric guitar 1, acoustic, keys. This is usually lead vocals, vocal 1, vocal 2, vocal 3. Usually 13 or 14 is going to be the feedback from the sound booth, and then 15 and 16 are your house. So what you want to do if you want to get the house mix in, let's start with 16. We'll move that way. I'm going to pan this all the way to the right because this is the house right channel. This is the house left channel. I'm going to jump this up to, let's say, 3. It's a good starting spot I've found for most of these. So now I've got house at 3 on both of those two. You're definitely going to need to add click track in if you want. Again, this is your pan. You can go pan right or left. I would usually put centered for your click track. And everything else, if you want to just bring it up to 3, then you'll have a pretty balanced mix, or at least a good place to start. Now, for each of these channels, again, as you see, as I'm clicking on them, it's telling you what my current volume setting is at, and also what my pan is at. So if you wanted, you can take lead vocal over to the side, and secondary, tertiary vocals over the you can adjust it that way. Again, I'll turn everything to about 3 as I start. Now, as you get into it and you say, oh, you know what, 14, I don't want that, there's your mute button. Again, this ring around it lets you know that it's on or off. Just know that if you accidentally mute one, you can get it back that way. And again, we've set everything, so even though these knobs are all messed up, that's okay. Now, when you're done, if you want to store your settings, say this is the perfect mix, you've got it just the way you'd like it, you hold the store button. Each of these modules has their own memory bank. So it will remember your settings and won't remember what the board is sending you. It will remember your settings. So you can see right now as I'm holding the store button, it's telling me I'm on channel 8. Let's say that I wanted to store this to channel 9. Click it once, click it twice to write it. Now, everything kind of went back to normal, but as you can see, when I hit recall, I have to hold it down. It's telling me I'm at number 9. Now I could adjust to go to any of these channels. Again, each of these units itself has 16 memory banks. So go ahead and pick one that you like as a number. We don't currently have a setting or a status on who has what number, but pick one that looks like, again, if you wanted to just start it out, even from a reset. So again, I'm going to do a full reset. Now you can see all my channels are off. I'm going to do a recall, number 9. And now you'll see it's got all my volumes back to exactly where I stored them. Don't touch these 2 buttons. If they are touched, if you click one of these buttons and you have 2 that are, it looks like they're tied together, you should only see one as you hit each button. Again, if you find something real goofy, recall, store, mute button flashes, you hit mute, and that's how to reset it. Power button is on the back, somewhere around here. And then again, right here, it's hard to see from the camera angle, but right here is where you're going to want to put in your headphone plug. Be careful with them. If your in-ears ever go wonky on you, either you flip your main level down, or again, you hit the mute button. That mutes everything in your channel. Enjoy.